Pringle House was scheduled for vacation because of earthquake risks, yet an earthquake damaged it before the move happened. Pringle House is a 10-story building at 142 Wakefield Street in Wellington. After the 2011 Christchurch earthquake, buildings around New Zealand were checked, and inspectors found serious structural and liquefaction concerns here at the time. The columns were non-ductile, meaning they could break rather than bend during strong shaking. Piles had light reinforcement while the foundations sat on soil with high potential for liquefaction. That combination made earthquake performance a serious concern. In late 2012, the Regional Council decided to vacate the building. But the 2013 Seddon earthquake struck while it was still in use, cracking sheer walls and bursting pipes. Water then flooded 5 floors. The council moved to Shed 39 on the waterfront. A later estimate put strengthening to the full new building standard at $32 million. Even reaching 40% was estimated at $5.2 million for the 10-story building. Burnham Copse Infant School looked like a cluster of circus tents and tippies, yet its plain replacement won an RIBA Award in 2009. The 20th Century Society called the original eclectic, witty, and imaginative. Opened in Tadley, Hampshire in 1985, the infant school was designed for 7 classes. Its conical roofs drew inspiration from circus tents and tippies. A larger teaching building surrounded a central shared area, a smaller building held the hall and offices. Classrooms connected openly to the shared center while walls separated neighboring rooms. Each classroom also had its own partly enclosed outdoor teaching area. The main hall sat half a story below the classrooms, creating different levels throughout the design. Falling pupil numbers led to a merger. In December 2006, the infant school joined the adjacent junior school as Burnham Copse Primary School. After refurbishment and extension of the junior buildings, the replacement building took over on the site. Its plain functional lines won the 2009 RIBA Award, while the original site was demolished in 2010. In 1795, a defeated 300-man British convoy was helped by artillery from a small fort perched on a 190-foot volcanic plug. The guns covered survivors retreating toward the fort. Fort Duvernette stood off Young Island in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It had 2 batteries and was typically manned by a detachment of British Marines. The batteries were reached by 255 steps cut into the rock. In September 1795, during the Second Carib War, Colonel Ritchie led the 300-man escort from Kingstown toward a British post known as Vigy. The route began in Kingstown itself. The convoy carried supplies, but an attack defeated it, forcing survivors to retreat toward Fort Duvernette. Major Henry Sharp ordered the fort's artillery to fire. The guns protected survivors as they entered the fortification, buying them time to get inside. About 60 men from the convoy escort were killed or taken prisoner during the action, and the supplies were lost. Fort Duvernette had provided a refuge for those who reached it. Before televised opera had a long history, Canadian soprano Sarah Fischer sang excerpts from Carmen's title role in the BBC's first television broadcast of opera music, on 6 July 1934. Fischer was trained first in Montreal, then at London's Royal College of Music, and later in Rome. That path prepared a Canadian singer for major European opera and concert work. Her connection to Carmen began in 1918 when she made her professional opera debut in Montreal as Michaela. 16 years later, she returned to the same opera as its title character. The televised performance paired Fischer's Carmen with Hedel Nash as Don José. It presented selected Carmen excerpts, not a complete opera, making the broadcast a focused operatic performance. And Fischer had already crossed another broadcast boundary. In 1923, she sang Pamina in the first live radio broadcast recorded at the Royal Opera House before her voice reached BBC television. The 2 milestones placed her voice in both radio and television's earliest documented opera broadcasts. China's long-running education magazine was interrupted when Japanese bombing destroyed its publisher's headquarters, not by an editorial policy change. Jiaoyu zazhi was a monthly education magazine published by the commercial press from 1909 onward. Its regular publication tied the magazine's schedule to the publisher's ability to produce periodicals. In January 1932, during the January 28 incident, Japanese bombing destroyed the commercial press headquarters in Shanghai. The destruction removed the facility that produced the press's periodicals. Production stopped across the press's periodicals, and Jiaoyu zazhi stopped with them. Its publication did not resume until September 1934 after the interruption. That pause did not define the magazine's full record. Jiaoyu zazhi was published from 1909 to 1948. Many issues ran 50,000 to 60,000 words. Across its run, it produced 385 issues in 33 yearly volumes and exceeded 35 million words. The bombing interrupted a publication that ultimately became the largest Chinese education magazine by word count, measured across its full run. That scale accumulated over many decades. Robert Diouf weighed 20 kilograms less than Mamadou Sakho yet defeated him twice, first in freestyle then under Senegalese wrestling rules. The opponent was Mamadou Sakho, known as Double Less or the Giant of Malafara. Diouf began in Mbapat, traditional Senegalese tournaments held after harvest. He grew up in Joel and at 15 entered regional tournaments. That path eventually led him into major national and international competition. The first upset came in freestyle wrestling, where Diouf defeated Sakho, known as Double Less, despite the 20-kilogram gap. The first bout belonged to freestyle wrestling, not the traditional Senegalese rules used later. Several years later, they met again under Senegalese wrestling rules rather than freestyle. Diouf won that rematch too. The rules changed, but the named opponent and winner did not. His career record puts those two victories in context. 137 fights, including 118 wins, 7 losses, and 12 draws. Diouf was also distinguished by exceptional technique. The lighter wrestler's achievement sits inside a documented, long-running competitive career. In Ming China, the Prince of Ning held a birthday party, then immediately rebelled against the emperor. The documented sequence is striking: celebration first, princely revolt immediately afterward. That timing is documented while the party's date and details remain unspecified. That prince was Zhu Chenhao, a Ming dynasty prince. He rebelled against the reigning Zhengde emperor, turning a royal identity into the central fact of the uprising. This was a conflict between a named prince and the reigning emperor. The revolt took place in northern Jiangxi and southwestern Nanjali. This places the uprising across two named regions, rather than locating it only at the prince's celebration. The birthday's date is not supplied, but the revolt's dates are precise: 10 July to 20 August 1519. That recorded span covers roughly 6 weeks from beginning to end. The government army was led by Wang Yangming. It captured Zhu Chenhao and quelled the revolt, ending the rebellion with its leader removed from command. That outcome closed the 6-week episode. After Indonesian politician Sutikno died on a Kliwon Tuesday, his family placed 4 local villagers on a 24-hour watch over his grave. This was not a brief ceremony. Someone remained responsible through the night. Sutikno served as regent of Gunung Kidul Regency from 2000 through 2005. He died at Muhammadiyah Hospital in Yogyakarta on 20 February 2012. The following day, relatives buried him in his home village. A local belief in Gunung Kidul links Kliwon Tuesday deaths with grave robbers seeking the deceased's burial shroud. It describes a feared possibility, not a verified event. Because Sutikno died on that day, his family responded with continuous observation. They hired 4 local villagers to keep watch over the grave for 24 hours. The arrangement addressed the belief without establishing that anyone had actually attempted a theft. The watch lasted at least a full month. That meant 4 local villagers remained assigned to the grave across many nights, long after burial day had passed in the home village.